Dear Prime Minister, I write as chairman of the little twittering parish council. Tory to a man, including Bettina, whose status vis-a-vis gender identity and the affair with the former postmistress I have mentioned in previous correspondence. The council has instructed me to write to you to express our concern about the state of the party under your so-called leadership. The party is in a parlous state, and with a general election looming, we have to consider how we can win a workable majority. Now, it is clear that we cannot do this with you at the helm. Now, many believe that we as a party will come to see a fourth unelected Prime Minister in 4 years as a kind of madness. Others believe that the madness is already upon us. Of course, we cannot, or at least it would be very difficult, to get Boris back on the benches in time to save us. And Nigel, who is in our view another strong contender, is off for the umpteenth time, reforming the entire political system in an attempt to make England white again. However, there are others waiting in the wings, ready to take up the mantle. Take Admiral Penny, for example. I suppose one should call her a rear admiral. After all, she does have an admirable rear. And there are others. Bettina, whose father is in that line of work, is running a book. And I have to say that your odds are not good. Only marginally better than those of Larry the Cat, and Larry's standing at 13-2. May I offer some advice? Back in my army days, we had a chap like you. Quite an odd cove, I remember. Whenever he was put in charge of something, the words piss up and brewery immediately sprang to mind. Anyway, matters came to a head in November of 1952 out in Korea. It seems he'd been diverting regimental funds to members of his family, specifically a series of 10-shilling postal orders to his wife's nephew back in Blighty. Well, the honour of the regiment was at stake, and there was only one thing to do. A couple of the chaps had a quiet word with him before leaving him alone in the officers' mess with a bottle of whisky. It was a rather decent single malt, as I remember. A good cigar and his service revolver loaded in accordance with a regimental tradition with a single shot. They posted a corporal outside the door with instructions that no one was to enter until after, well, you get the picture. And after a few minutes, the unmistakable aroma of cigar smoke wafted down the hall, followed by the loud report, the unmistakable discharge of a Smith & Wesson. It took them a few moments, but eventually the chaps stiffened the sinews, summoned up the blood, and returned to the mess. What they found was very much what they'd expected. The bastard had finished the cigar, shot the corporal, nicked the whisky, and legged it up the jungle. He had left a note apologising, so the honour of the regiment was preserved, and, he did not return the money. Anyway, what to do about your leadership? Do you have any good cigars? Yours sincerely, Lieutenant Colonel Sir Roger de Stableboys, Royal Artillery, retired.